In this video, I'm going to show you how I make my budget template on Google Sheets. Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back. My name is Brad. I make videos with tips and motivation on how to get out of debt, how to stay positive, and how to live a more happy, fulfilled life. After I posted my budget video update a couple days ago, which I'll leave in the eye in the sky, I asked if people wanted me to show how I do my budget template and how I lay everything out. I got a tremendous amount of feedback of people that were interested in what I do. So, you asked, I shall give. I'm here for you. I have no problem showing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you exactly how I built my template from scratch. I'll show you how to make banners, how to change colors, format cells, how I do my drop-down menus, and how I bring my drop-down menu items over into my overall spreadsheet, have everything added up for me, everything you see in my budget spreadsheet, I will show you guys. And thank you so much to all the people that suggested that I put it on Etsy or that I make it something that I could sell. I love to give, and I'm also a spreadsheet nerd. So I love doing it. I want to do it for you. It's not a big deal for me. And I'm glad that I can show you how to do this. This is kind of like that situation. I could give you the tomato and you can eat for a day, or I can show you how to grow the plant and you can eat for the entire span of your whole life. So I have no problem giving it to you. If you want to thank me, just give this video a thumbs up and share it with somebody else that might want to use this budget video or might want to build a template. That's really how you could thank me. That's all I ask, and I hope that this really works out for you. A quick note on why I use Google Sheets, because I know there's a lot of Excel spreadsheet users out there, and some people still use numbers on Mac, which I don't know. But I come from an engineering background, guys, so to downplay Microsoft Excel is a big deal. I'm an Excel maniac. Don't even need a mouse. I knew all the shortcuts, everything. But I have to say, Google Sheets has changed the game. After being forced to use it through my career, it is better than Microsoft Excel. It's easier to use, it's more straightforward, and also you can share it with just multiple emails. And this is beneficial in the budget because now my wife and I can do our budget updates and things like that at lunch because we can both see it at the same time, both be on the same sheet in different locations and be able to communicate and input data. So just think about that. If you're an Excel person, think about possibly going over to Google Sheets. I don't know. But let's take a look. I'm going to show you how. If you have any other questions at the end, leave them in the comments. I'll make sure I get to them. And if I have to make an update video, I have no problem doing it. All right, guys, so here we are in my spreadsheet. Like I said earlier, I'm going to show you how I do everything from this banner up here to my drop-down categories over here and how I sort all of these things. How I make this category right here, grab the numbers from here and sum them up. How I make this category automatically turn green or automatically turn red. For example, like if I did not budget anything for FiOS this month, you would see that it would automatically turn red. I will show you how to do that. I'll show you how to add up categories, how I add up this to make this automatically happen, and everything in between. So if there's something that I miss, guys, including like the borders and the colors and the fills, and also how to move boxes around, just let me know in the comments below and I'll come back, and if I have to update it, or maybe it's something that I might be able to show you, okay? So let's start first and foremost. I'm going to start a completely different sheet. This will take you about 25 minutes to set up if you're okay. It might take you 35, but once you have it set up, all you have to do is change the numbers. So it's not like you need to set this up every single week. It's something that you're going to be able to do once and then just plug in different numbers each time. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a sheet. And first we'll start with this top banner and my budgeting things. We're just going to have a total of 5 categories. So to make a sheet, to make that banner on top, what I'm going to do is I have all these individual cells. These are called cells. And I know for this I want to do 5 cells. But what I also know is that I might want to make one of them bigger. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What I'm going to do is going to click and drag to highlight all of those. Now this box up here, this merge cells, that's going to be a big one when making your spreadsheet. All you're going to do is click that, and then you'll see it is going to make all of those the same. So merging cells is something that we're going to do often, and all you have to do is click this merge cells. Right to the left of that are the 2 things that we're going to also use. So I'm going to put a border around this, and I'm just going to do a square border, and you could change the thickness of that border. and then boom, that's right here. And then the inside of that, I made it blue. And then we just gonna click back on that cell and I will type in January. Now you see it comes up black, no big deal. Here is the font, text color. And if you're not sure, when you scroll over things, they tell you what it's gonna be. I will make that text color white. And then I will use this box, the align box, to move it into the center. And I will use this font size and maybe I'll make it a little bit bigger. Boom. That's pretty much how you are going to make a banner for all of your boxes. Next thing we want to do, looking at my spreadsheet, is we want to make this thing across the top. So I'm going to have bills, planned, actual, difference, and income. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight all these boxes again, and I'm going to put individual borders around each. And I'm going to do bills, planned, actual, difference, percent of income. Now there's the next thing I want to show you is how we can alter boxes either one at a time or in total. So these are called cells. Like I said, these are columns and these are rows. When you click on one particular box, you can take action. So I'm going to center that box and it will only do it to that one box. If you click on this column, you can change what happens to everything in this column that we'll see later. So if I press middle, everything in that will become centered. The last thing you can do, which is going to become completely helpful, is if you highlight all of the things, you can make that happen for everything. So if I want them all to be that, I just highlight them all, and I want them all to be bold. They're all highlighted. I click bold. Boom. That's how you do that. Next, we're going to list our items. So these are going to be the things that are happening in our budget. We'll just do this. We'll look at the four walls: food, shelter, clothing, and transportation. So once again, I can click on this box and I can center it, or I want everything in this column to be centered. So I'm just going to click A. It highlights the whole column. Now, when I click center, boom, it makes it centered. It's great. And I know that that's going to be my major bills. I might have some other. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to highlight across all the way across the income, and I'm going to come down about 11 boxes. That's going to be my first income table. I'm going to put a border around that whole table, and I want the inside of that table to be a very light red. So there we go. Now, if you want, you can put a border here. All you do is highlight this row, and then you come up to the borders, and I just want it along the right side there, and boom, that would be that. So you can sort the different borders according to how you want them. And if you ever make a mistake, you press Control and then or Command Z. That's a backward action. So if I went blah, 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 I press Enter. Oh, I hated that. I press Command C. It goes away. All right. Now I'm going to do this same thing again, but I'm now going to make an income box, a totals box, and a plan box. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm just going to sort out my skeleton first, for example. So once again, I'm going to merge. This would be income. I want my income to be green because that's money, 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 money. And then for me, I'll have Tara's income, Brad's income, side hustle, and then I'll come down 2 boxes and I'll make totals. Now, as you can see, in mine, I had income, planned, and actual. So maybe when you were making this, you were like, oh shoot, I forgot that. All you do is come over to this row, you would right click on your mouse, and you would say insert above or below. Insert above, boom. Now I could put that in here. So this is the person, planned, actual. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a border around this box, make it nice, done. And for this column right here, I'm going to put another border. And then for the top, I just want to box those out. There we go. There's our next box. Let's make a little fill for this. We're making some money column. And we'll make that the same light green as in the top. If I want to click on this box, I put income. And then I want to make the income. There we go. Bold. 12.5. Very good. There we go. So that's that table. The next table that I have that I will build for you real quick is, you see I have totals and sinking fund. I'll leave sinking fund because you'll get the idea. But the totals one I'm actually going to use in this when I show you how to add things and how you could pull cells from one thing to another. So next I'm going to add this box. It has 4 across the top. It is 4, and then it's a 4x4 box. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to make that box in here. The top is going to be like this. and then I will start putting in things. So as you can see, I have totals, planned, actual, difference. And then on the top, I have income, and then I have bills. And then on this one, I have sinking funds already. And as you see, oops, I did a 4x4, but I really wanted a 4x5. So all we'd have to do, guys, is come here. I'm going to delete this border by clicking right here. Then I am going to highlight these, and I'm just going to add the border to the bottom and to each side. And boom, just like that. Now I can add in totals, and then I can add in my column, what I have is actual net, which I'll show you what that's going to mean. And that's going to be, I'm going to put a border around those just because I want to. Boom. And just to stay, we'll put a border on the side over here. You see how quick it becomes when you actually know what's going on. I know I'm moving fast. Now, I put this box over here so I can show you another thing that you can do with boxes. If you were to highlight this entire box and then scroll up towards the top, you will see this hand come. This hand is going to allow us to move a box into another location. And anything you've programmed in there, any color fills or anything, like that will all move with it. Okay. But now I want to show you, and don't get discouraged, I can't move over one box. See how it doesn't let me do that? So sometimes I got to move it way over here, and then I move it back over to here. So I'm going to put that, and then I have this one over here. I'm going to try and make this a little bit cosmetically nicer, because who doesn't like nice things? I'm going to highlight. Let's make the inside of this. Blue is a usual favorite of mine. I want the top to be a different blue, etc. All right, so these are just things that you can do to change the color fills of everything. All right. Next, I'm going to show you how to do addition and subtraction in your box. So if you were to, now that your skeleton is made, what you're going to do, and I know that I haven't done the spending box yet, but I just want to show you this first, okay? Let's just say we planned $100 out for each thing. Okay, this was our budget for each. Now, these are all dollar amounts. So what I want to do is I have a couple different options. Like I said before, I can click on a cell and format it as a dollar amount, and then it comes up as a dollar amount. I can click the column, but I don't want everything because I don't know if everything down here I want to be a dollar. So your best thing, guys, is when you want to change something in a row, just highlight the whole row. Up here, makes it into money. And then for cosmetic things, I like to sort everything to the right. So those will, each things will be worth $100, and that's how you show things to just be monetary. I'm going to have an actual amount in here that I'm not going to put anything in because later on I'm going to tell this category to pull it from my spending box. What happens is if you see all of these numbers come from summing up all of these automatically, and then this column brings all these numbers in. So I'm going to show you how to do that in just a few minutes. But what I want to do is I want to set up this difference. I want to know if this is my above or below or equal to budget box. So what I'm going to do, and this is how you program a box. I click on the box and I'm going to press the equal sign. Now what that does is it makes it a mathematical formula. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on my planned. Now you see that comes up as B3. I'm going to press the minus sign because I want it to be a difference. And I'm going to click this actual. And then all I do is press enter. And now what that becomes is it becomes this row subtracted by this row. And you could do that for each one of these cells, or here's a quick shortcut. If you take this cell right here, this little blue box, once it turns into that crosshair, you click and you drag all the way down to the bottom, and it'll do that for the entire column. Now, if you don't want those rows to come in, because what it did is it grabbed that, just highlight it again, and then we just get rid of the border, and then we'll just put the bottom one back on, and that's how that will work. Oops, I got to put the top one back on too. All right. Now the next thing, so that's how we're going to do this. And now how I find the percent of income. Let's get to the income part first, and then I'll show you how I do this percentage of my income box over here automatically. Let's say Tara makes $300. I make $200, and our side hustle brings in $150. First thing, I want to make this whole thing talk about money. I move it over to the right. Now, if I want to sum up my income, here's the next formula I can do. Once again, to create a formula, I press the equal sign. Now, it'll give you some suggestions. You can either take the sum or the average. So what I'm going to do is I'm just accustomed to just typing in sum. Then we take open parentheses. Now, on your left click and drag, you highlight that whole category and you press enter. What that'll do is it'll now sums up all of these right here. And then to do a percentage, it's going to be divide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my planned amount and I'm going to divide it by whatever this total income is, $650. Now you see how this comes up as a dollar amount because I use dollar amounts to do this. That's great. That's fine. All we do is highlight, and just like we made everything dollars before, let's just make them percentages. Boop. And there we go. It's 15% now. And if I wanted to do that for the whole column, once again, like I did with that click and drag, look for this blue box and drag it all the way down to the bottom, and you are good to go. I don't like having all those little borders, so I'm just going to get rid of them. No borders. I have to add a top plate, a side plate, and a bottom plate, and I'm back to normal. Okay, so that's how I do the percent of incomes for each of mine. Now for totals, I want to make a total category. So now that I know how to drag and click, let's go back to this one where I can make a totals for this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a separate column on the bottom. So I'm just going to square border it. And what I want this to do is I want this to be equal to the sum of this entire row. And I want this to be equal to the sum of this entire row. And then I want this to be equal to the sum of this entire row. And I want this to be equal to the sum of this entire row. Okay, so now we can see that in our bills, all of the things so far, that's going to account for 61%. No actual money's come in, planned money's come in, the differences come in. So now when I move down to my totals box, I can say all I have to do is press equal sign. I don't have to type in any numbers. From now on, I want this total income planned to be equal to this box. Enter, comes in down here. I'll do the same. Equal, total, done. Same for this. I want this one to be equal to this box. And I want this to be equal to this box. And then as we showed before, the difference is going to be equal to this box minus this box. And this one's going to be equal to this box minus this box. So when we talk about my plan now is going to be equal to my income minus my bills. And as you can see right now, I'm in the red. And then this box to be equal to how much money I made, actually, minus how much money left in bills, actually. So right now, I'm even because I haven't paid any money towards bills and I haven't brought in any income. So this is where we're going to be, and this is where we're going. I'm just going to box in because I'm OCD like that, okay? Next, awesome. This one right here, okay? So what I'm going to do with this one is I'm first going to make the banner. Now this description box is going to be 2 merged boxes. So this is going to really be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to the top. I'm going to go across 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to merge those cells and call this spending. I'm going to move it to the middle. I am going to make it bold. I'm going to make it 12-point font like I've been doing. And I'm going to make this one a light yellow. I am going to now, with my skills, put in my box, and I am going to make this a square box for all of my categories. And as you can see, I'm going to have post date, description, amount, and category. But what I want to do is I want to merge these 2 boxes, and I want to make them so that I can make the description a little bit longer. So I do a highlight and merge. Now, once you do that with 2, you can click and drag all the way to the bottom. Now, how many rows you have is dependent on how many transactions you have in your bank account every single month. For me, this is about how many I want right now, and that's fine. I'm going to drag this down, and all of these are going to be merged cells. So this is date, this is description, amount, and category. Now we're going to get into a little bit more fun, advanced type things that I am very, very excited to show you. I'm going to make this column just have another row on it. So I'm going to put a sidebar. Now, when I type in 1/1/19, depending on how you want the date, so if I click this row right here, I want this date. I'm going to highlight because it's a little safer than clicking the row. If you come up here to format, number, date. So this is how I want the date formatted. So when I click this, it's going to format that date. So now all I have to do is type in 1/1, and it's going to come up like that, or 1/6, and it's going to come up like that. All right, so that's how you format that. Then I put in a description, food, and I put in an amount of 16. Now I want all these amounts to be dollar bill, y'all. So I'm just gonna type in dollars, boom, like that. I'm gonna put it on a sidebar down here. Now, how does Brad make those drop-down categories? What I want you to do is I want you to click on one cell right here. To make the drop-down menus, you are going to do this. You are going to click on one box right at the top, okay? Then you're going to come up here and where you see data, what you're going to do is come down to data validation, and click that box. What it's going to do is it's going to give you a cell range. So it's just clicked on this box right now, K4. You want to make a list from range, all right? And then you want to reject input. That means you're not going to be able to change things later on, okay? And you are going to show drop down in that list of cell. So now what I want these to be are the categories for my spending. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on this, okay? Now once you see that blinking in there, you're going to come over and click and drag this whole column, and something else is going to pop up that shows you you're taking data. And I want you to take the whole table, not just these 4 things, and I'll show you why in a little bit. So I'm going to left click, and I'm going to drag. Then I press OK, and then I press save. Now you see this little drop down over here? So when I click on it, there's all my categories. So this is going to be food. I click on food, all right? Now, to make that drop down, what we're going to do is click and drag all the way to the bottom. Isn't that awesome? That is like the coolest thing that I've learned recently about these things. So that's how I make my drop down menu. I'm just going back and fixing up borders. That's going to happen from time to time, all right? Here is the next thing that's incredible. Instead of taking this food amount and plugging it in here, what I want this cell to search this entire spending table for anything that's food, and then I want it to take everything that's food and I want it to sum it up into this box, okay? And this is called an if-sum or sum-if formula, which is also on Excel. Just follow along. Here's what I'm going to do. You might have to go back and watch this again, but that's okay. Press equal. All right, then you're going to press sum if. Open parentheses. The next thing that you are going to do is it's going to ask for what do you want to search. And the first thing I want to do is I want to search all of these categories. So I'm going to left click and drag all the way down. So now that box is going to look at the categories first. Then I'm going to press comma. After it is searched, it is going to look for in this box in quotes the category food, because this is the food part of this spreadsheet. End quote. So now I'm looking, it's saying, let's look for category, and the category I'm going to be looking for this box is food. Then, comma. If it finds food, I want it to sum up everything here that's food. So now I'm going to left click and drag all of this, close parenthesis. Now when I press enter, 16 should pop up in that box. Okay, now you see that says 0. When I now make that the food category, watch, it's going to come up 16. Boom. We want this whole category to be money. Okay, and as you noticed, when it plugged in that 16, I'm going to delete it from the spending real quick. Watch what happens to the difference box automatically. $16. Boom, it comes down to 84. Now, this is almost a click and drag feature for this if sum, but here, watch what happens when I click down. As you can see, these all become zeros now. Why is that, Brad? Here's why it becomes 0. It becomes 0 because this is looking for food, but it's not food. This is going to be the shelter category. So what I'm going to have to do for each one of these is just come back and I'm going to type in shelter and press enter. And then this box is going to be clothing. And this isn't part of the annoying setup, but that's okay because you only have to do this once. And this is going to be transportation. So now look, let's add some shelter. Rent, $20. Let's make it rent That's shelter. Watch what happens to shelter category. Boom, everything changes. And then I add another food. I went grocery shopping again. $5. Drop down menu. Food. Boom, it added that to it, okay? So that's pretty much what's going to happen. You're going to have a running total of all of these things. And that's going to be awesome. Now, how do I make these boxes change different color? I'm going to click and drag on all of them. I'm going to format. All right. Come down here. I'm going to press Conditional Format. And the first thing I want to do is right here, the cells. Format if cell. If the cell is greater than 0, then I want this box to turn green because I'm still above budget. I press done. If the box is less than 0, I want it to be red because that means I'm over budget. Oh, greater than 0. And if I am equal to 0, if that box is equal to 0, I'm going to keep it the same red that I had it going on. Okay. So now we can see everything, all of these are above 0. You can get rid of this. All of these are above 0, so they're green. But now, maybe I went out to eat. On 110, I went eat, and I had a huge dinner, food. And I spent $100. Watch what happens. So when I click food, it's going to go here. This is going to become 121. This is going to go over budget, and this box is going to become red. Food. Boom. No good. What happened? Wah, wah, wah. And guys, that's pretty much it. There's one other thing that I really want to show you. And like I said, you guys know how to change the color. You want this whole box to be this color, just click it up here and just make that box that color. That's you can do, right? So now, the last thing I want to show you is, say you found another category, okay? You got a dog, so you want to do pets. Before, when I told you to scroll this whole category when making these drop downs, because now look, you got a dog, so now you press in pet. Automatically, pets are now added to your drop down menu. Okay, so now you're like, oh, I got Fido. He's going to be $25. Good. I want to make this whole category money and this whole category go to the left. Okay, so now I get on 114. I look at my bank statement and I got pet food, and I spent $15 on pet food. Now, when I click on pet food, it'll change all that categories. But now, if you went and spent $40 on pet food, so now, if you notice, I just pushed $40 and it didn't go into my box. Why? Because just like how we had to fix all of these quotes, it needs to look for pet. And I spent too much on, so it went red and things like that. And this is pretty much it, guys. This is the whole category. Now, next month, like say you're at the end of the month now, all you're going to do now is you're not going to touch this actual category. All you're going to do now at the end of the month is come through here and press delete. That's going to reset all of your actuals, okay? And don't worry about these. If you want them to go clear, go to an empty one and just scroll up. Not a big deal. And that's it. If you have any questions, please let me know. Like when I get income, I'm just going to come in here. I'm going to press $400. Boom. That's going to adjust that. It's going to adjust this. It's going to make this. It's going to just change everything. Okay, guys? So the only thing, this is the major table. And one last thing with this table. Let's say you made 25 boxes, okay? And you didn't, and now you realize you really need 30. All you're going to do, guys, is you're going to go to the bottom. You're just going to get rid of the borders just like we did before. Get rid of these borders, all right? And then however many more categories you want, say you need this many more, just go back in and create those borders for that, okay? And then for this, we have to make sure that we merge those. And like I said, all you're going to do is add to the bottom. Now, it might throw some things off. And what I mean by that is you see there's no drop downs here anymore. So all you're going to do is click here, and you're just going to bring these drop downs here. All right, and that's it. But now when you just added all of those, you'll see that right now this actual up here, it's only searching to 23, right? It only searched to where we were going. Now it goes down all the way down to 30. So when you add boxes here, sorry, I got to change the color. I go crazy. Okay. When you change and add boxes here, all you have to do is go up to here and then click in here, not too hard, and just change it to search to 30 and not 23. Not the end of the world. You'll see these are also going to 24. These just got to go now to 30 and 20, and you'll just do that all the way down. I hope this helps, guys. I know it's a long video, but if you have any questions, just let me know. I want you to make the greatest budget spreadsheet you've ever made. If you do, tag me in it. Let me know that you made one or anything like that, and just have some fun with it. But those are all the basic things that you need to know. Like, if you want these to change the fonts, guys, it's right here, not that big. You could change the fonts. You can make them italicized. It's all these different things. You can really customize it. But I know you really want to know how I made these drop-down menus and how I made all these other categories. But I just have to do this, and I hope that really helped. Let me know if it helped, and let me know if you have any other questions. Happy budgeting, guys. I hope this helped. If it did, please give it a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing if you're new here. I make videos with tips and motivation on how to get out of debt. That might be your sort of thing. And please, please share this video with somebody else that you think might help them. And until I see you on the next one, guys, happy budgeting, stay positive, and have a great day.